We're in the green room today with Andrew Breitbart, author of Righteous Indignation. I'm Rob Bluey, your host. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Rob.
I want to begin. Talk about your transformation. You write in the book about how you were a liberal with liberal tendencies. How did you become a conservative?
Well, I'm ashamed to say that unlike David Horowitz, whose tale of apostasy was incredibly deep, intricate, and helpful to the conservative movement, something that we've spelunked for years, and it looked into the anthropological background of the entire institutional left. I was just a dopey kid from West Los Angeles. I call myself now, what I was then, a default cultural liberal. But there's so many people in this country who fit that bill, because the problem with the conservative movement is it's focused too much on politics. The left, on purpose, through intellects who come from the academy, figured out that they needed to infiltrate the cultural institutions. The cultural Marxists did so. They did so in academia, they did so in Hollywood, they did so in the mainstream media. And I say this over and over, but politics is downstream from culture. And that's what I was. I didn't think. I just thought what everybody around me thought in Hollywood, who made films, who were involved in the cultural process. And I just had an epiphany that was based upon the Clarence Thomas hearings. And it was as profound an epiphany as a human being can have. It haunts me to this day when I watch this good and decent man attacked by the mainstream media, and I didn't understand why the NAACP and the Urban League weren't coming to his defense, and I didn't understand why Tom Brokaw and Peter Jennings and Dan Rather were part of this attack.
Now, you write in the book that New York and Hollywood pose a real bigger threat than Washington. Why is that?
Well, I just came from New York, where I just got into a battle with Martin Bashir. I went to New York because I have a book to promote. So I now have to go to Media Row in order to promote it. I had to go into hostile territory where I'm attacked for my worldview. New York, media is everything. I say that in the book. Media is everything. To those Republicans who are languishing at 1% and 2% in the polls, who are hovering in this exploratory committee purgatory, wondering why am I not catching fire, yet Donald Trump rises through the ranks in a nanosecond. Media is everything. That's the message in my book.
Explain your war against the media.
Well, you just heard how I describe the what I call the Democrat media complex, the natural alliance, not a conspiracy per se. There's some conspiratorial aspects to it. I have friends at ABC and CBS and NBC. Some of them happen to be conservative, some of them are just good and decent people. And they tell me it's impossible to be in here and try and pitch an idea that doesn't go against their point of view. It's impossible. With the Acorn videos, I did that. I went to ABC and they said, I can't touch this because of the politics behind it. As long as that exists, as long as those bullies within the newsroom who feign objectivity yet use the media as a cudgel to attack conservatives as racist, sexist, homophobes, they're the bullies on the playground. And I don't even think it's a metaphor. My goal is to destroy the Democrat media complex.
Andrew, our next question is coming from Suzanne Everett of Ohio, and she writes, as an educator who is about to graduate college and begin to search for a career in teaching, how do you plan to take on the education system? I've had to silence myself and my views on the education system for far too long. Any chance we'll be seeing a big education anytime soon?
Yes, Big Education is the next site that we're doing at the Bigs. The first one is the model, Big Hollywood. That was the first one we launched. We launched it about 3 years ago, and here's what its net effect has been. John Nolte is the conscience of the big sites. Unbelievably smart, has an unbelievable soul, decent man, and a warrior. What we have done is put Hollywood on notice that the profligate attacking of conservatives in films, the profligate attacking of conservatives on the Jon Stewart Show, the Colbert Show, the Bill Maher Show, The View, etc. Well, there's a checks and balance now. And so between Breitbart TV and Big Hollywood, we're there immediately to fight fire with fire. And what's happened since this, celebrities who have unbelievable thin skin are starting to mellow out, realizing there are repercussions, and the studio execs are sending the message, hey, we can't, it's not the same way that it was, because the talk show hosts are now paying attention to Hollywood just as they're paying attention to Washington, D.C. Apply the same model to education. New media, video cameras, those horrific tales of students in college sitting there in a math class being inundated with the teachers, Bush is Hitler, or Sarah Palin is a troglodyte. That type of stuff videotaped, put on the internet, and that teacher is now subject to scrutiny, that school is subject to scrutiny, and I'd like to make a mechanism so that the people who donate to those schools are aware of what's going on in their classroom.
Looking ahead to the future, are you optimistic about the conservative movement and the role of Tea Party activists?
I'm beyond optimistic. I have really gone from being a defender of the Tea Party against the media attacks to really feeling that I am a member of the Tea Party, and I'm not a joiner. That's the thing about conservatives. They tend to be individualists who don't like to join things, and I've put everything into the pool. I'm completely invested into the Tea Party movement. You would not have had the success in Wisconsin that you just had if you did not have this psychic energy and even the physical presence of Tea Party activists at events and the organizing that is happening. This is an election. This is an off-election year. Scott Walker was heroic. He was the test for can you stand up to this.
Andrew Breitbart, thank you for joining us in the Green Room today.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I'm Rob Louie for the Heritage Foundation. Please check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Heritage Foundation for other great videos.